Hello, this is Terry Evans from Entrada Interactive. This video is going to go over what's required to get the Miscreated editor up and running. Show you kind of the steps involved in it. So to start with, what you'll need are three things kind of downloaded and ready. You'll need the Miscreated game itself, which you can download from Steam. When you get it downloaded, just go into your Steam library, drill down to the Miscreated folder, and you should see folder structure very similar to this. We'll be using a couple of these folders. You'll also need the CryEngine SDK, which is the default version of CryEngine. What you'll want to do is go out and search on the internet for version 3.8.6 build 49. And we can't distribute this ourselves. We've asked Crytek for permission to do so, and they've denied us a couple of times. So you will have to find the CryEngine SDK yourself. So go ahead and download that from the internet. Again, version 3.8.6 build 49, and it should contain files similar to this. The other thing you will need is in the description to this video, there's a link to the Miscreated editor files. It's just a small zip file with the binaries compiled for the editor and a sample level in it. All right, so once you have those three things, what we want to do is create a folder to put the editor inside of on your computer. And then from the SDK, you'll want to copy over the bin folder, the editor folder, the tools folder, and these two configuration files. Let's go ahead and copy those in. The rest of the files from the SDK, the rest of the files and folders, we won't use those. So just get those copied over and installed. This shouldn't take very long to copy these. I am on a laptop, so it may take a couple of minutes here and there. If it takes too long, I'll speed up the video. All right, now with those copied into the folder, you can close the zip file for the CryEngine SDK. We don't need it. Some of this you may want to kind of glance through as far as for the sample assets and so forth if you want to. It's not needed though. Now from the game folder, we need to copy over three of the subfolders. We need the engine folder, the game SDK, and the localization. These are all the folders that contain the custom assets for Miscreated. And these are several gig worth of data files, so this will take several minutes. So again, I'll kind of pause it and skip ahead in the video so you don't have to wait for all this copying routine. All right, now that all the custom game assets have been copied into your editor folder, the last step is just to get the Miscreated editor files. Again, this is just the DLLs compiled for the editor, and it also includes the sample level. So we'll copy those into your editor game folder as well. And you will get the replace the files and destination warning, which is fine because we're overwriting DLLs with the correct ones for the editor to run. So we'll go ahead and pick that and copy those in. All right, so that's everything that's needed. So now let's go in the bin folder, and you can delete all of the x86 folders. These are the 32-bit versions. We don't use those. We only use the 64-bit. Save you a little bit of space. And then editor.exe, this is the editor. So let's go ahead and run it now. So this will launch the CryEngine editor, and it'll go through and start loading all of the custom plugins and game assets for Miscreated. So it'll take a few seconds here to run. This is running on my laptop, so it's a little bit slower than you'll probably experience. And we do ship a sample level, as I mentioned, and once it's finished running the editor, we'll load the sample level, and you can take a quick look at it. It's pretty simple, but it does have some logic in it for like painting vehicles and a few things in it, which would be kind of useful to see. All right, so now you pick open level, empty. This is the level we ship. It isn't really empty, but it's pretty sparse. So let's go ahead and load in the level. This is actually a level that I use for testing a lot internally. I'll put down assets and items and just kind of test inside of it a lot. So it's kind of a nice little hodgepodge of different parts of the game that you can kind of snoop around with and see. There will be an error here on startup. Just ignore that. You don't need it. All right, so this is what you'll see when it opens. Again, just a few little miscellaneous assets that are in here from the game. So just press, this isn't going to be a tutorial for the editor at all. This is just to get it running, but you press Control G to enter game mode. And it does run the weather system by default. That's why it goes black here, because it's nighttime. And it's even starting to snow in the editor. That's what the white's for. So for documentation on how to use the CryEngine editor, yeah, Crytek has some amazing documentation on their website for the editor. I'd recommend you go there and start going through it on how the basic functionality of the editor and how to use it. But now you should have access to all the custom entities and assets in the game Miscreated.